This DVD introduces how to make bags using a typical sewing machine. Please note that the specification of your sewing machine is not exactly same. Also, please prepare ahead of sewing by printing out the paper patterns from this DVD-ROM. Simple and easy handmade. Casual and cool. If you wish to make a stylish piece, Brother Sewing Machine will support your creative life of sewing. These are the materials for a drawstring pouch. First, pin the paper pattern on the fabric using sewing pins and cut the fabric along the pattern. Next, draw 2 lines to mark the ribbon slot and mark buttonholes on the front side of the fabric. Select overlock stitch with the pattern selection dial and sew the edges of the fabric. Using the overlock foot, an optional presser foot, you can align the edge of the fabric with the guide of the presser foot for easy and neat sewing. Replace the presser foot with the buttonhole foot A and make buttonholes. At the end of sewing, pull the upper thread out from the back of the fabric and tie it with the lower thread. Cut to open the middle of the buttonhole with the accessory seam ripper. Fold the top side of the fabric at 7 centimeters toward the back of the fabric and iron to crease it. Unfold the ironed crease and put the 2 pieces together, fronts of fabric facing inward. Secure the position by using sewing pins at vertical angle against the sewing direction. Replace the presser foot with a zigzag foot J. Select straight stitch with the pattern selection dial. Place the edge of the fabric at the right edge of the presser foot and sew it, leaving 1 centimeter seam allowance. When sewing this part, use reverse sewing at the beginning and the end. Open and press the seam allowance by ironing. Turn the fabric right side out and iron the 7 centimeter fold at the top of the bag toward the inside again. Remove the flatbed attachment. Put the bag over the free arm. Sew 2 lines for the ribbon slot. Start sewing from an unnoticeable area, like a side of the bag, without reverse sewing. Finish sewing with reverse sewing overlapping at the end. Finally, insert the ribbons through the buttonholes and shape the whole bag nicely. Here, you have made a lovely drawstring pouch. These are the materials for a simple tote bag. First, fold the fabric in half. Place the paper pattern on the fabric, aligned with the bottom of the fold. Pin the paper pattern using sewing pins and cut the fabric along it. Fold fabric B2 twice at the top side of the pocket and press it with an iron. Select straight stitch with the pattern selection dial. Sew over the fold of the pocket the fabric B2, aligning the fold at the center of the presser foot. After sewing the top of the pocket, fold the other 3 sides at 1 centimeter and press it with an iron. Mark the position of the inside pocket on the fabric B1. Pin the fabric B2 on the marked position with sewing pins. Sew the pocket, aligning the side of it with the center of the presser foot. Use reverse sewing at the beginning and the end of sewing. When sewing at a corner, stop the machine and turn the hand wheel toward you to lower the needle into the fabric. Raise the presser foot. Change direction of the fabric and then continue sewing. It is useful to use blind stitch foot, the optional presser foot, by sewing with the edge of the cloth aligned with the presser foot guide. Put the fabric A and the fabric B with fronts facing inward. Sew them together from the top side of the bag. Sew the bag aligning the edge of the fabric at the right edge of the presser foot with 1 centimeter seam allowance. Use reverse sewing at the beginning and the end of sewing. After sewing the top side, press down the seam allowance toward the fabric A and iron it. After folding it again like this, still with fronts of the fabric A and the fabric B facing inward, sew the sides of the bag. Use reverse sewing at the beginning and the end of sewing. When sewing the sides, leave an opening section about 8 centimeters on one side of the fabric B to turn it right side out later. After sewing sides, open the seam allowance and press them with an iron. Turn the bag right side out from the opening section. To close the opening section, sew it by hand blind stitches or by hem edge sewing with your sewing machine. It is easy to sew at the edge of the fold using edge joining foot, optional presser foot. Then, layer the fabric B in the fabric A. Shape the bag neatly by ironing. Remove the flatbed attachment to get ready for a free arm. Place the top side of the bag at the right edge of the presser foot. Stitch 1 centimeter away from the edge. Start sewing from an unnoticeable area without reverse sewing. Finish sewing with reverse sewing overlapping at the end. Finally, sew the handles with nice decorative thread. Now you have completed such a useful, simple tote bag. Please enjoy sewing and creating your original and unique piece. The only one in the world with the fabric you fancy. Make your sewing easier, more enjoyable. Brother is happy to provide a wide range of optional presser feet to support your needs. For more details, please contact your nearest distributor or service center.